Hi, welcome to Snow Stitches. I'm Alana Snow. I hope you guys are doing as awesome as I am today. I hope you guys had a great week. I hope you're looking forward to your weekend and that you have some fun stuff planned, okay? Um, I don't have too much projects to show you because I am still working on my two pillow covers. And I haven't started anything else since then, just because I do want to get the pillow covers finished. I know that if you were watching my last videos that I said that they're going to be Christmas gifts, and they are, but if I have like a six to eight pillow covers to make, then I do want to get them done as quick as possible because about a month each, then I only have 6 to 8 months left to finish them. So anyways, this is one of my pillow covers, and what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be showing you guys the Basketweave stitch that I'm using for it, and I'm going to demonstrate how to do it, and I'm also going to be doing a knitting and purling tutorial for you guys. Okay, so this pattern is pretty easy. I'm not following a specific pattern. I more so just looked in my knitter's guide and I found out how to do the basket weave stitch, but like the square basket weave stitch so that they're all even squares. And then I just adjusted it so that it would be as big as I wanted it. Originally, in the book that I was using, it said to do like squares 4 stitches wide, but that's too small for the project that I'm doing. I don't want that little squares. I wanted them to be bigger like the way they are now. So I changed it to the 12 stitches. How I decided on that is I worked out my gauge. I cast on 10 stitches, I cast on 12 stitches, and I knit those. I knit 6 of them and I purled 6 of them, and then I did that until I had a square, just to see how big it was going to be in this pattern and if it was going to affect like the gauge of it. So I got about a 2.5 to 3 inch square from those 12 stitches and 12 rows up. So then I decided that the 6 stitch square was also the 6 stitch square was also too small, so I transferred to the 12 inch. I decided I wanted to do that. So what you do once you've done that is you decide how long you want it, and on my side 9 needles with my worsted weight yarn, it was 3 inches for every 12, or 2.5 inches for every 12 stitch. So I cast on 72 stitches, and I calculated at the time that it was going to give me about an 18-inch square. And then I'm going to block it, so it should stretch it out to the perfect size. I actually wrote everything down because I have to make 2. So that's just a little handy trick, writing things down just so that you remember, because I know for a fact I might not remember because I don't count my stitches every row. I might not remember how much I cast on, and I might not remember that stuff, especially if I finish the first side and then it takes me a while to start the second. I might have to start all over and re-gauge everything, right? So that's basically it with that. It's really easy, really simple. After I cast on my 72 stitches, I knit 12 and then I purl 12. So if you can see, knit 12, purl 12, and then you keep doing that. So knit 12, purl 12, knit 12, purl 12. And then I did that for 13 rows. Okay, and then you start doing it reverse. So then you purl 12, knit 12, purl 12, knit 12, purl 12, knit 12 for 13 more rows, and then you go back to the knit 12, purl 12. So it's really simple. Basically, it's just that the knit 12, purl 12 for 13 rows, and then the Purl 12 knit 12 for 13 rows. So it's really simple, and I think it's a really cool looking pattern in my opinion. Also, it's pretty good if you want to get your knits and your purls in and you want to learn a little bit more about those. I find that like in knit one, purl one, in the ribbing, you don't really see how your knits look and how your purls look on their own, because the ribbing gives you such that different look than if you were just knitting or purling or even doing the stockinette stitch. So this is just a good way to see, you know, if you want to learn what your stitches look like, this is a good way to see that, right? So I think it is a pretty good beginner's pattern. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be doing the tutorials. I'm going to be showing you guys how to purl first and then how to knit. Just because when I started knitting, it was tricky for me learning how to purl, because I did know that the purl, like I knew that it was like the reverse of knitting. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was like you're doing the knit stitch but almost backwards. I just I didn't know you had to bring your yarn over, and so I was increasing stitches every time I tried to purl, and it was just terrible. So I'm going to show you guys that one first, just because I feel like that's probably the trickiest one, just because of that you actually do have to bring the yarn back forward, okay? So just give me 1 second. I'm just going to set up my camera for the tutorials. Okay, so 1 second. Hi guys, so this is the same work that I just showed you guys, the same basket weave one. So I just finished my 12 knit stitches here. Don't know how well you can see that, but yeah, I just finished those. So now I have to move on to my 12 purls, so I'm going to show you guys that right now. So how you purl is when you get to the point in your pattern when you're ready to start purling, you take this yarn and you bring it forward, right? Like you bring it around your needle where your stitches are on, like where the stitches you've already knit are on. When you do that, like I guess, like I'm not too sure why, but I do know when you knit or when you purl with your yarn in the back, it's a way of increasing your stitches. So you don't want to do that. If your pattern just tells you to purl, then you want to purl with your yarn over here. That's the important part, okay? That's what I meant when I said that I didn't know how to do that and I was increasing my stitches. Okay, so how you purl is just like the knitting. You put it in, but you stick your needle through the front. Okay, you stick your needle through the front, and then you wrap it around, you pull it under and over, right? So it's just like the knit stitch, except you're pushing your needle through the front of the yarn, not the back, with your yarn in the front of your work, not the back, and then you're wrapping it around, and then you're pulling it under and out, right? So it's basically just the exact same. I'll just do it a few more times so you guys can see. I'll finish these 12 purl stitches. Under, over, and then out, right? So it's really, really, like, it's really simple. Like, I met some people who they knit, and they don't want to learn how to do the purl stitch. They would want to do everything in a garter stitch, and that's fine. You know, garter stitch looks great for some projects. It's great how it's a reversible stitch. You know, that's cool, but at the same time, you're never going to learn any other patterns or any other ways to do, you know, you're not going to learn anything else if you just stick to the garter stitch. You might learn, oh, I can learn to do a scarf in garter stitch, and I can learn to do a sweater in garter stitch, but you're going to be very limited. That's just my opinion, you know, and the textures that you get, because that's all that you're doing, the only stitch, and I can't say that I agree with that. But that's just me. And as a person, I feel like I would rather learn. Yeah, okay. So those were my pearls. I hope you guys were watching, and I hope that my camera's not too terrible. Like, my camera work's not too bad. Yeah, so I have one more pearl to do. So I'll just show you guys again, and I'll tell you about it. In, through the front, and then over. So it's going to look like this. And then you're going to go under. So now your work looks like this. And then you're going to pull that off. Now when you want to knit after a purl, you have to bring your yarn back around the back. Okay? And now here's how you would do a knit stitch. You'd put your yarn in the front. What am I saying, the front? You would put your yarn. It would go in through the front, I suppose, but it would go through the back. Like, go in through the front, but it would still be poking out through the back side. As in, when you would purl, it would go like this, but when you knit, it's going like this. So it's going behind this needle here. Okay? So now you're going to wrap your yarn around, so it's going to look like this. And then you're going to pull your needle through that loop that you created. It's going to look like this. And then you're going to pull it out. Okay, so we'll do it one more time. So in, around, under, and over, right? In, around, under, and over. Okay? So yeah, that's how it is, and that's, like I say, I find it pretty darn simple. I mean, I guess it's hard to get the hang of it, but once you do, it's pretty easy. Once I got the hang of it, I'm telling you, I was like, you know, you go so quickly because it's almost like it's such an easy, like it's almost like one motion when you're doing it, right? Like that's how simple it is. Once you get your head wrapped around it, it's really easy. And I think that's one of the reasons why I love knitting, is because even though, yeah, it does take up time and hours to knit something, it's not that it's particularly hard, unless you're doing like socks where you have to do like gusset stitches or something, you know, and that's a little more difficult. But just for something straight, flat knit like this, it's really easy. So those are the knit stitches. You see, so that's about all there is to the knits and the purls. I hope you got the hang of it. So those are my tutorials. That's about it. Like I said, that's all there is to it. Next week, I'm going to be talking to you guys a little bit about like bargain shopping for your yarn and for your knitting needles, instead of like always grabbing the most expensive thing, because you know what, sometimes it's not worth it. If you can't get enough of me, you don't want to wait until Friday to see me, because that's when I'll be doing my next video. You can check out my blog. The link is in the description. Okay? If you like my videos, then be sure to subscribe. I'll see you guys next week, okay? Stay stitching. Bye!